Good morning everybody and welcome to this week's Paper Tray Ink Make It Monday video. I'm Lizzie Jones and today I'm going to be sharing a technique that I'm calling texture kissing. So essentially this technique is just using a background or pattern stamp to give texture to solid images. I used this technique last release on this Rosh Hashanah card. I used background basics wood grain to give the tree trunk more of a realistic appearance, but you could use this technique to give flowers polka dots or coffee mug stripes or balloons, stars, really whatever you dream up. So today we're going to be making a birthday card using the popsicle from Summer Sweetness and this confetti background from Good Times. We're going to start just by showing you the basic technique. I'm going to do it a few times so you can see really how to get the best results. So you're going to start by just inking up your stamp like you normally would. And then when your stamp is nice and inked up, you're going to try to tap off a little bit of that ink. You don't want your ink, your stamp to be super juicy. You're going to blow on it a little. Then you're going to press the stamp into the background stamp here, and then you're going to go right onto the die cut. And there you see you've got the polka dots coming through on the popsicle. So let's do that a couple more times. I realized doing this technique that there are some ink colors that work better than others. And super juicy pads don't work super well. Really, you just don't want an overabundance of ink, because the wetter the stamp is, the more that those dots or your pattern, whatever the pattern is, are going to fill back in when you press down. So back onto the background here. And down onto the die cut. There we go. So you've got the texture coming through. And we're going to do one more. It seems to me that the lighter ink colors do a little bit better with this technique, but it may just be that my darker ink pads are a little over inked. It's entirely possible. Larger, bolder geometrics tend to show up a little bit better too, so keep that in mind when you're looking through your background patterns. Though I've done some with the linear images like the wood grain that turned out really well too. So you're just going to want to play around with it and see what works best for you. There we go. All right. So we're going to add the sticks to these guys. And I've got an example here of one that I did where I didn't tap off any extra ink, and I didn't really let it sit and wait. And I can show you that here too. So that's this one here. So you can see the difference between one with a little less ink and a little more time between the impression, and one that I did really quickly right away. Did the same ink color and everything. The only difference is that this one was done more quickly and without as much attention paid to the timing I was giving it. So it's a different look. It's not wrong, it's just different. So keep that in mind when you're working with this technique as well, because you might want that depending on what solid image you're working with. So now let's put together our card. I have an aqua mist card front here and a birthday strip that I had die cut with the swoosh dies. And I'm going to stamp birthday in that negative space using Versamark, and then I'm going to heat emboss it in white powder. And I'm going to add wishes to this berry sorbet piece here, also in Versamark. I'm going to go heat emboss those. I'll be right back. So I've got my sentiment parts heat embossed, and I'm going to adhere them, but first I'm going to add a scalloped border along the bottom edge using the scalloped strip from Ombre Builders. So I've got it lined up to where I want that the edge to be, using fresh snow ink here, and I'm just going to add this little stamped border instead of a paper border to keep from adding any extra bulk. Just a nice option. There we go. And I'm going to just adhere these down. I Xyroned this cardstock before I die cut it. It gave me nice clean edges. There we go. And the top one. All right. So there we go. And now I'm going to add my textured popsicle using a little bit of foam tape. And so I got some foam tape here. I'm just going to cut a couple of random pieces. Put that right here. Okay, so I have the card done here, and it still needs a little something. So I'm going to add some little dots of glossy accents here. Just to dress it up a smidge. All right, and there we have it. That is the textured kissing technique. It's super, super easy, super simple, and adds just a little bit of a fun touch to any of your solid stamped images. Thank you so much for joining me today. Now it's your turn. Make sure to head over to Nicole Hetty's blog to link up your project. I can't wait to see what you create. This has been Lizzie Jones with this week's Paper Tray Ink Make It Monday tutorial. Have a wonderful week, everybody.